Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. It's all about the U. Let's talk to my man, Brett, the owner of Caneswear. Got a lot of things going on. And, Brett, I got to tell you, I saw this on social media because you guys are all over on social media. Follow him on social media, Canes_wear, by the way, on Twitter. So I saw it and I retweeted it, and I said, I got to have one. So I came over, and obviously I'm doing the broadcast, but I had to buy one of these 305 shirts. These are sweet, man. Sweet.
They look great, don't they, Orlando?
Oh, my Lord.
Those the artist did a phenomenal job. Got the beautiful colors, 305, the skyline, all what it's about to be there in the 305.
Yes.
It's awesome.
That is awesome. And I see you got some racks out here. You got some clearance racks out here. What do we got going on Caneswear?
Well, today is the end of year. It's the end of year sale, and today is what? I guess it's the end of the year. I mean, this is it. The end of the year, the end of the decade. It's for the end of the teens. We're going to the Roaring 20s. So we've got today, last day of that sale today. We've got heat stuff. A lot of heat stuff out there at 40% off. The high flying heat. We've got a lot of their stuff at 40. We've got an orange tag at 50. We got racks of that, 70% off our green tag. So lots and lots of items, over 1,000, 70% off. Awesome deal there. We got some items that are regularly like $40. You got for $12. So $50 for $18. So great sale. So it's been a phenomenal year. It's just been awesome. We had a great year. I mean, the Canes didn't do so well. The Dolphins didn't do that well. I mean, I shouldn't say that about the Dolphins. They definitely impressed.
No, the Dolphins did well.
I don't know about the new coaching move, but I've been very impressed.
I like the coaching move.
You like the coaching move with Jalen?
Yeah, because I think it's kind of a Godfather cultural place type of move that I think they're going to elevate the quarterback's coach, give him more responsibility, but because he's kind of new at being an offensive coordinator, Chan will help him groom the quarterbacks and the offense for the next couple of years and then just move on.
That's a good point. I thought O'Shea was doing a great job. I mean, what do I know?
Maybe I think it's more about saving the quarterback's coach, because if Daniels gets a job, he would take Shaplinski.
That's what I heard.
So they're afraid of losing Shaplinski, so then they give him more responsibility. But while giving him that responsibility, bring somebody in that can help mentor. And here's the flip side of it. I'm afraid that they feel that they might be losing Jim Caldwell. So if they're going to lose Jim Caldwell, he will be the guy that kind of replaces Jim Caldwell as the mentor of the offense. You know what I'm saying?
No, I got it. So the Dolphins are very, very high on them. Flores, I mean, you wanted the better pick. We ended up beating the Patriots. Can you get any better than that? Beat the Patriots, knocked them out of the
stay at 5.
Knocked them out of the bye, and we stay at 5. The team nobody wants to lose less than Coach Flores is the most excitable coach I can remember.
I love him.
He's pumped. He's energetic. We finally got the great coach that we wanted, I believe.
I love him. And
so I just wasn't sure.
I love what I'm seeing from that guy.
So far, I mean, he basically picking off guys off practice squad every week and you're going to play, you're going to play.
And let me tell you something. When the training camp rolls around next year, you're going to find 5 or 6 of those guys, and you're going to go, hey, those were the guys from last year, and they're pretty good, and they're helping us. And so that's what this season was about, is just filter in and out young guys, figure out the ones that can and can't play, and then roll them over into next year to help build that foundation.
And what they did with certain players, I remember we were at the draft together with that draft party when they picked Devontae, and you were definitely, I think we were at Frankie's that day.
I was,
and you were definitely wanting Devontae. Psych, I thought the next Randy Moss, the next type of Michael Irvin, the guy that's going to go up and grab the ball, a quarterback's friend that's going to go and take the ball away. And finally, this year, So, I mean, I'm excited about the receiver corps.
All the injuries killed his confidence,
man. The injuries, but you got Parker, you got Wilson coming back healthy. You've got
Preston Williams.
He's looked great.
Looked like a steal of the draft.
Absolutely. He wasn't even drafted, right?
Right.
So we got him. We got who else do we got coming? Albert Wilson.
The Nick Needham kid that looked good.
And Gesicki, he's looking phenomenal. So that's exciting. And Fitzpatrick, I wasn't for Fitzpatrick. I was for Rosen, but
it made sense.
Total sense.
I wanted to go back to Rosen too, but I was wrong. The coach was right, because it allowed you to assess everything. Parker doesn't have the year that he had
No
if
way.
Rosen's playing, so you don't get to sign him to this contract-friendly deal.
Exactly.
Which is another smart move by this front office.
They've done everything right.
Eric Rowe is a mediocre corner,
Mm-hmm.
but they figured out, hey, this guy can play safety and cover tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
He's good at that. We haven't been able to cover the tight end for 15 years.
Absolutely. No, it's right now they're doing it right, and we're stockpiled with draft picks. We're stockpiled with money.
Love it.
I've heard some people say, "Well, next year can we go for Lawrence if we can?" I'm saying we're not going to have to do that again.
No,
I don't think we're going backwards.
No.
Lawrence is not going to sit down. And
no,
this team's going to be vying for the playoffs next year, without a doubt.
At least 500. I mean, if you can win 5,
if you're going to go to 500, you might as well get the playoffs.
You know, they'll be close. But okay, but I'm not going to hold it.
I'm
not going to expect.
I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying that. And regarding our Canes, it's you know what? I'm excited in this regard. I know about what's happening with Alonso and everything, but
no, it's not going to happen.
But here's the deal. So what was the downfall of our coach with the tie? He wouldn't fire his buddy. He wouldn't fire the defensive coordinator, and that led to the downfall. They turned on him. And then with Coach Richt, who we all love, the only guy to get us 10 wins in the last 15 years, I love the Canes. My life depends on the Canes, but let's face it, we haven't been world beaters for a while.
Yes.
Cane fans are great fans. They're going to come to the store. They're going to buy. They're going to support the team. They're positive. But Coach Richt got us 10 wins. He got us that bowl game, our one bowl game in 13 years that we won.
And won.
We're 1-9 in our last 10, so it's not like Manny took over this powerhouse.
No.
This powerhouse that we lost 4 in a row last year. We lost 5 out of 7, and against Power 5 we were like 6 out of our last 6 and 9 out of the last 15. So Manny took this team over. He got us a little excited with the yacht and everything like that, the new Miami. It didn't work out. Everybody said the offense was the problem. I believe the offense was the true problem, and he got rid of the problem. We didn't lose many games because of defense this year.
No. There were moments that the defense didn't come
4th and 17,
through.
They didn't come. But, you can't put a little time capsule and look at every individual play, I say. We have the kicking at the beginning of the season. Who knows where we are in that season?
Right.
And then you've got on top of that the offensive problems. And I don't know what happened. How do you go from winning 3 games in a row and beating at Pittsburgh, winning
Virginia.
at Florida State, winning Virginia 2 weeks before that, coming back against Virginia Tech when we threw 5 interceptions, 5 turnovers to no turnovers. We came storming back, and then destroying Louisville, and then I don't know what happened. It had to be some kind of dissension, in my opinion.
I don't know what it is, but he's got to figure it out. And as bad as he looked this year, he needs to look that good. Because like I said earlier in the show, this was supposed to be a 10-win season.
Absolutely, with the schedule especially.
Right. Those 4 games you lost, you should have won those games. And then we're all like, okay, Manny had a great year, great way to start. Let's build on this. And they would have been the team last night playing Florida, maybe.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we would have been doing this show. We would have been doing this show,
rematch,
talking about the Orange Bowl game last night, and we would have win or loss, win or lose. Hey, win or lose,
right.
It's 10 wins. We would have felt good about the season.
No doubt about it. But so I was doing some research here the other day.
You do that?
I do research once in a while.
All right.
Besides
Just
everything
checking.
else, I try to look at. So I was looking up different coaches, their first-year records. These people are down on Manny. It's the worst coach in the history of sports. They want to, but I say he gets a mulligan this year. His first year, tough year.
No, I get it.
He got rid of the offense coordinator, which is great. Okay, so you look up a guy like who's this? Dennis Erickson, 6-6 at Wyoming, 3-7 at Washington State, then finally 9-3 at Washington State before he took over the Hurricane job. So Canes fans, we'd obviously want to kill him.
Right.
All right. You've got let's see here.
Dabo Swinney, actually.
Dabo Swinney, we know about, of course.
Dabo had a decent first year, but then he actually suffered a really bad second year, if I'm correct.
And then the third year, he was 6-6 or 6-7.
Then he started to bounce back.
So, totally. So here's a coach that started off at Toledo. He was 9-2, and then at Michigan State he was 6-5. At Michigan State second year 6-6, then 7-5, then 6-6.
That's Saban.
4 years he's going around 500. So
right.
I know we talk about Alabama. The first year was 7-6, but in Michigan State his first 4 years he was no good.
Right.
So you've got coach after coach. Patterson, TCO, started off badly. Gundy, Oklahoma State, not too good his first few years. These are great coaches. So. The first year, I wish Manny would have done better. The new Miami, the yacht, the excitement, the energy. I'm sure he's the first person that thinks he could want to take that back.
Yes.
But you know what? He got rid of Enos, a great high-powered offense. Look at LSU. Last year, they were just an average offense, below average.
Yep.
I mean, Burrow would, if he would have gone in the draft, he would have been what, 4th round, 5th round. Now he's going to be the top pick.
They brought an NFL assistant in to run the offense, and it completely changed everything. So
I'm excited about the Canes. Just let's see who we get for the offensive coordinator. That's the key. But Manny said yesterday, I guess he said yesterday that he's going to up-tempo offense, which is the key. Spread offense, aggressive offense. He picked Enos. It was the wrong pick. I don't think you can judge a guy in his worst moment.
No. Listen, Manny gets the mulligan. Like you just said. He gets the break. He did everything wrong this year. Now it's your job to learn from all of this and make sure it doesn't happen next year. And when FIU rolls around, you win those games. And when Georgia Tech rolls around, you win those kind of games. That's what he cannot do next year. He can't have the same things happen over again.
Absolutely.
Because then that's when we have no hope right now. Because that's the part that I've lost hope with him right now.
Yes.
And that's the part that sucks.
That's it. That's what fans are down. But you got the fact that he was able to. I mean, most people thought he would not fire anybody. He'd not get Ravinos. He'd give him another shot, which is what his predecessors did. He kept defense coordinator. Rick didn't want to fire himself from the job. Didn't want to go ahead. So they went ahead and took the bullet.
Unlike Flores doesn't waste any time on anything.
Absolutely.
Anything.
Absolutely.
He will make changes.
I mean, that interference penalty against the Jets at the end, was it against the Jets?
Yeah.
He was ballistic, going crazy. I love Flores. So we got the Dolphins that draft. I saw a mock draft. I know it was just a mock.
Yeah.
I'm not a Tua guy, but I saw Tua. I saw T. Higgins, an 18, not a bad receiver. Not that we need receivers. I saw Etienne coming in the second round. I mean, those would be some solid guys.
Oh, Etienne, I would love.
He's a beast, and he'll be a mid-second round pick, they said. I mean, there's so many guys we can get in those first 5 picks.
Oh, my Lord. They could get a hell of a back in the second round. There's going to be a whole bunch of them in the second round.
And for the first time, we've got some of that we feel good about them.
Yes.
Do you think Rosen has any future? Because I've been reading some people say the Dolphins like him.
I think he does have a future. I think they're just coaching him up and preparing him for his final opportunity at it. They clearly saw he wasn't ready. So they're like, all right, we got to scrap this. Let's just coach this kid up. He'll be a year here, and then next year we'll throw him into the competition with the young kid we draft. And if he can't beat out the young kid, then we have our answer, and we move on.
Absolutely. Well,
I think that's what's going to happen.
Well, the microwave society, everyone wants an immediate. In the older days, you remember, I mean, the Danny White that sat back. I mean, Don Strock sat behind Bob Greasy. Steve Young even sat back. I mean, Brett Favre was ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
Aaron Rodgers sat for a while.
You can't. I mean, these guys are not. That's the toughest position in all the sports.
Yeah.
A split second to decide what to do. It's not college.
And now they're back to normal salaries. Remember, we had a time where those crazy salaries.
The Jake Long years.
Yeah, and they forced you that if you drafted a guy, you had to throw him in there already because you were paying him so much money.
Yes.
Now that you're not paying him that much anymore, you can actually sit him down. And I think that's why Fitz will come back to give you that bridge again until those guys or the drafted rookie.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great opportunity because the offensive line, I doubt, will be a great offensive line, even though we have enough money in draft picks to draft guys. But I don't know. It's hard to imagine we're going to have a great offensive line right away. But you never know with Flores because you wouldn't imagine after losing to Baltimore the way we did and then the second half to New England. It's good to know that Baltimore destroyed a lot of teams.
Right.
I mean, when you find out that your boy destroyed, it's not just us.
Right.
So that's exciting. And the Panthers, one thing out here at Canesville, we have a ton of Panther stuff, and the Panthers are playing well again, which is good. They're on and off, and hopefully
they're on right now.
They're on right now.
They're on tonight, by the way, against the Blue Jackets. They're on the road.
All right, so we got that. What do we got? A 2-game winning streak going right now?
Yes.
So hopefully they can continue. That's a lot of excitement going on.
Yeah, they're right at the bottom of the playoff race, so they need to start climbing in that playoff race. And a win tonight against the Blue Jackets would be really, really nice. That's not going to be an easy one for them.
But after seeing what the Blues did last year, they came from last to first, right? I mean, everybody is in it in hockey.
Hockey's one of those.
Hockey's a great sport. That is, if you're hot in the playoffs, you can make a run.
Especially with
a
the
great
goaltender.
thing. So,
yep. All right. So, what do we got going on? Are you open tomorrow?
We are closed tomorrow. We're going to take the New Year's Day off and celebrate.
Good for you.
Thank you. It's
Bill is off too tomorrow.
Bill is off too. All right, but you're going to carry on.
I'm going to carry on.
So it's we got right now the special. We're going to have a 2020 special. I mean, I'm going to give you a hint. Tomorrow, everything is going to be, we're going to announce it. Everything in the store is going to be 20% off. So even your starter jackets, whatever you want tomorrow, 2020, 20% off on everything. Even our top sellers will be announcing that in the morning, so you'll get a code for that.
Not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow.
It'll be tomorrow is the day. No, it'll be online 2020.
Online tomorrow.
2020. Caneswear.com. We'll do that.
Online.
And we may carry it over. We'll probably carry it over for our first day as well.
Okay.
I'll instruct the team. And even our sale items that are 50% off, they'll be an additional 20% off.
Wow.
And maybe so take a look at online Caneswear.com. We got the Panther stuff, I said. We got plenty of Hurricane stuff. We've got Dolphin stuff. Look for a Dolphin sale on there as well.
The Inter-Miami jerseys.
The Inter-Miami jerseys are coming out in February. We're pumped. We're just doing a schedule card. They should be coming out mid-February. We're working on having a block party for that. We're going to try to have this whole place lit up. We're working on something right now with the landlord, so that'll be exciting. We're pumped. I mean, the soccer we've got tons of jerseys. Adidas is really pumped. We've got a ton of jerseys, the black jersey, the white jersey, the pink. It's going to look great. I mean, everybody's excited. We finally got a coach, which we're going to have a team, and you couldn't be more excited right now. So I told my friend that we're going deep on soccer. He said he went to the scrimmage in Orlando for the Canes. He said there was a soccer game going on, and everybody was wearing Orlando purple.
Oh,
he said, so soccer.
Yeah, Orlando City fans are awesome. So fantastic.
So March is when it starts. It's going to be exciting and energetic. It's I don't care what you're a fan of in South Florida. If we win, everybody's going to be a fan.
That's right.
Let's face it. So we're pumped.
So you're getting it in all three colors?
It'll be two colors. It'll be white and it'll be black.
Oh, okay. I thought you said there was a pink one.
I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, so it's but there will be. But anyway, so there you heard it. Shh. So we're pumped. We're pumped. Everybody's pumped on the new jerseys, the new team, and you can't have anything more to ask for.
I'll be here on the first day to get my kits.
Well, absolutely. So we're excited. So listen, Big O, happy, healthy New Year to you and the family.
Thank you, sir.
Phil, happy, healthy New Year to you and to all of our fans out there.
And we're closing the New Year strong. 33% increase in our downloads this month.
Awesome. That's phenomenal. The show is going. I love the show because it doesn't only talk only one sport. It talks about every sport. Yeah. It's a great thing, and that's why people listen in. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, man, it's growing. It's growing.
Now, it's also 2020 is Caneswear's 10th year in business. We started in that little warehouse for 5 years.
Remember.
We by the Spotters for 4, and now we're over here by Mission Barbecue and Burger 21 for the last year and a half. So 10 years in business, so we're going to be doing a lot of exciting things.
That is awesome.
So stay tuned. So thank you to the Caneswear family out there. We appreciate each one and every year. We love you all, and happy, healthy New Year. We look forward to seeing you in 2020.
And, Brett, thank you for being a great sponsor of ours for so many years, man. I really appreciate it big time.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
And this venture has been the best.
We love it. We love it.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. We are definitely in the Big O camp.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right.
Brett Gittleman, of course, from Caneswear. Thank you, my friend.
Got it.
All right, there we go, baby. All right, come on out, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. You see it right here, right under the mic. You see the little block? It says it there, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. I love it. Brett, come on out and see Brett and all the great people out here, man. They will get it done for you. I'm telling you. All the great savings. Got a bunch of racks out here with all kinds of stuff.
I was going to say, man, the stuff on the racks.
I know,
dude,
right?
Like
pretty sharp. I like that
Panthers
Panthers
shirt. What is Brett doing selling that stuff at that price?
Yeah, the Panthers shirt is really, really sharp. So you got to check it out. Good stuff. Thank you, Brett, as always. Appreciate it. All right. If you guys want to get in on the show, so simple, the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it's 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. Leo goes, that guy knows a lot. Of course that guy knows a lot. Brett follows every sport out there. Of course he knows it. They're giving you compliments on the chat board there. Your knowledge. Dropping knowledge. There you go. You see? I love it. What do we have here? And listen, when he's here, and all the guys here, and the ladies, they're all big sports fans. They can talk. He doesn't hire people that are just normal employees. They're actual sports fans and employees too. So yeah, Brett keeps up with everything. For Enos, it's his job to make the offense fit what he has to work with. Don't sell me on the crap non-Power 5 schools can run up tempo spreads. Do they have smarter kids than us? I don't think so. Well, you never know. Sometimes you got a bad batch of kids. You never know. Big O, Tua at the podium holding up a #1 pick jersey gives me tingling, right? Is that what you put? All hail the Dolphins, and I love Rax. And you better love Rax. Drew Bow, Happy New Year. We all love Rax. Rax, Rax, Rax. Love it. Nothing wrong with a great rack, right? A great rack is awesome. And at Pallet Rack City, you can get a great rack. So get on down to Pallet Rack City and get a great rack. And by the way, folks, be safe, okay? This evening, when you're hanging out, be nice and safe. Don't get behind the wheel drunk, please. If you're going to drink, stay home. If you're out, please Uber home. Have somebody that is, not drinking. Let's be smart tonight, okay? Let's not pick up any DUIs. Let's not get anybody injured, please, okay? Let's do the right thing. You don't need any of that kind of, terror in your life. The Heat lost last night to the Wizards. Really haven't talked too much about the Heat today. Butler had 27.6 rebounds, 4 assists. Bam had 14 and 14 along with 5 assists. I'm not going to get crazy about this game. It's one of those games that the Wizards had it going on, and they scored 80 points from the bench. And there are moments where you can't do anything about it. Teams have their nights, and last night was the Wizards' night. Just one of those deals, man. It's something that you can't control, and it happens to every NBA team. What I would tell you is this. It's not habitual. And when it becomes habitual, don't worry. I'll mention it. We'll talk about it. I'll bitch about it. I'll complain. We'll point fingers. Okay? We got no problem doing that here on the show. But we can't overreact about a loss to the Wizards on a night where they get 80 points from their bench and some kid named Garrison Matthews scores 28 and another kid named Jordan McRae scores 29, and both guys shoot 10 of 15 from three-point range. What are you going to do? It happens. I saw Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Phil Jackson come into town, and we're sitting there going, man, the Heat have 8 people on their roster. And Rex Chapman went off for 39 points. He had it's probably his greatest night as a basketball player, one of them. Definitely one of them. Obviously, he had a pretty good career as a college player. So maybe he had a better one. But that night took everybody by surprise, including us Heat fans. And they beat the big bad Bulls, the world champions that year, with a incredible effort. So that's what happened last night. And the Wizards scored 123 points because 80 of it came off the bench. That means your starters only had to score 43 points on the night. That's pretty awesome. So for those of you out there, if you're a Heat fan, chill out, relax. I get it. But they're 24-9. That's one heck of a record. One that you should be very proud of. And last night is what we call an aberration. Last night is what we call a fluke night. They're going to play the Wizards 10 more times, and they'll beat them 10 more times. But every once in a while, somebody's going to shock you, because that's how this game is played. But what are you going to do? 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program as we take you, of course, till about 3 o'clock, I would say, right after Jay Skursky. He'll join us, and we'll have a little fun with Jay. We do want to remind you that the National Horse Players Championship qualifier is coming out to Hialeah Park. It'll be Sunday, January 12th. Bill and I will be out there for a couple of hours to broadcast live, and they're gonna be giving away $10,000 to the winners, $5,000 to first place. That's amazing, man. You want to find out more? Go to hialeahpark.com. The winner will also get an NHC seat in Las Vegas, February 7th through the 9th at Bally's, so you can compete for the grand prize. You want to find out more? Go to hialeahpark.com.
I'm going to take it.
All right, welcome back.
This is the Big O Show.
We take you, of course, till about 3, I would say, maybe a little before that. Jay Skursky is going to join us from the Buffalo News. He covered Chan Gailey while he was there, so we'll get a little thoughts from him about that. In a couple of minutes, Ryan Aber is going to join us, and we'll have a little fun with Ryan, and we'll get into some football talk with Ryan. He covers the Oklahoma Sooners for the Oklahoman, and he's going to join us, and we'll talk about Jalen Hurts, because obviously he is a Jalen Hurts beat writer, or in other words, an Oklahoma beat writer, and he covers Jalen Hurts. So Ryan Aber from the Oklahoman will be joining us shortly, in a couple minutes here. So we'll have a little fun. If you want to get in, it's really simple, man. All you got to do is grab your cell phone, and you want to send us a text. It's at 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program, as we take you, of course, till about 3. And you can comment on anything in the world of sports, locally, nationally, all that good stuff. Let's see, what else do we have here to share with you on the program? Panthers are in action tonight. They are taking on the Blue Jackets on the road. The Phillip River, we haven't gotten into Phillip Rivers. We got some sound. Eli Manning also I want to get into. There's a couple of things there also that I want to get into. I didn't put out my basketball picks yesterday, and today I haven't had my basketball picks ready either. Man, I am completely slacking on that. I definitely got to pick up on the basketball stuff there for you guys. We also had a fantasy basketball segment earlier on the program. It'll be normally on Mondays. I want to make sure you guys know this. Mondays is when you'll catch Andy Behrens doing fantasy basketball, but yesterday, with all the breaking news and everything else, we kind of pushed it back for today. And so now that's why you saw Andy today, but it'll be Mondays from now on. Now that we're not doing fantasy football anymore, Mondays will be fantasy basketball. And that'll be in the afternoon, too. It won't be early part of the show. It'll be, I think it's scheduled for 1 or 2 o'clock, something along those lines. Also, not next week, but the week after next, Bill and I are going to be in St. Pete for the East-West Shrine game. Looking forward to that. We're going to give you all the draft coverage that you can possibly handle, man. It's going to be a lot of fun being out there at the East-West Shrine game, and that'll be our 21st year. So we'll give you wall-to-wall coverage of your that we can about any of these players. And then besides Ryan, here at 2 o'clock, Jay Skursky is going to join us, and he is of the Buffalo News, and he covers the Bills on an everyday basis. So we'll have a little fun with Jay, and we'll talk some Bills with him at the bottom of the 2 o'clock hour. All right, let's get Ryan on now, and let's get ready to we'll talk a little college football as we get to talk to Ryan Aber, who covers the Oklahoma Sooners for the Oklahoman. So we'll have a little fun with Ryan there. And listen, Jalen Hurts is one of those guys that a lot of people have been talking about. A lot of Canes fans, a lot of Dolphin fans have been have mentioned him to me, and I would say that he's one of those cats that is more of a project than anything else. That's kind of the way I would look at him, because I don't look at him as a pure pocket passer. And that's the problem for me, that if you're not going to be a pure pocket passer, then all of a sudden I've got to design the whole offense around you. And that's where I kind of stand with this kid, that he's not really, your typical pro-style quarterback. And are you going to run something more like what you do with Lamar with him? That's the real question. Do we have him?
We have Ryan for you, sir.
All right, I like it. Ryan Aber covers the Oklahoma Sooners for the Oklahoman. Let's bring him aboard. Ryan, how are you doing, my man? Is it pronounced Aber?
It is.
Okay.
I appreciate that. A lot of people don't get it right the first time, so I appreciate it, and doing well. Glad to be on with y'all.
Well, listen, I can understand, because obviously my name being Orlando Alzagari, that is not necessarily the kind of name that people get right the first time, second time, or third time. You know what I'm saying? So I can feel your pain, my man. I know when it's a different kind of name, it kind of throws people off there. All right, so Ryan, you've been covering this young man obviously from the first day he stepped onto the campus, and one of the things that, okay, from afar now because I'm not around him, but watching him from Alabama and then watching him at Oklahoma, how many guys have you been around that are so good at handling adversity and all kinds of difference? Because he just seems to be, when it comes to leadership, it seems like that oozes out of him.
Yeah, there's some things you can pick on with this guy's game, but leadership and the way he handles difficult situations is certainly not one of them. He's been fantastic with the way that he handled everything that went down at Alabama, to have that level of success and then lose your starting job, and to deal with it the way that Jalen Hurts dealt with it, which was just to put his head down and get to work and work as long as he could before he made the decision to transfer, and then obviously handled everything phenomenally once he got to Oklahoma. So this guy's leadership and the way that he handles being around people and carrying them along to where he wants to be is absolutely phenomenal.
How do people respond to him, his teammates? Walk me through that vibe in the locker room, the connection between him and not just his offense, but maybe also his defensive players.
Yeah, I think I'll just start off with defense, just because there's a couple guys that really bonded with him right off the bat, and one of the biggest ones would be Kenneth Murray, the middle linebacker from Oklahoma, that is their best defensive player, or was for most of the year, and actually had a run-in with Jalen at in the Orange Bowl a year ago, and they started jawing at each other. But as soon as Jalen Hurts arrived on campus, he was this team's unquestioned leader. And I think a lot of that started because Kenneth Murray, who was already the leader of this defense, jumped aboard immediately. And that bond that they built was really special. And I also think that the bond that Jalen Hurts had with Alex French, the other central figure in Oklahoma's success this year, turning their defense around, really went a long way toward endearing him to everybody else on this team.
Ryan Aber, of course, joining us. He covers the Oklahoma Sooners for the Oklahoman, and you can follow him on Twitter like I and so many others do at RY Aber. Follow him there, and you can get the latest on what's going on with the Oklahoma Sooners. The game against LSU, in a way, I mean, even the Baylor game, they weren't either great performances against Baylor or against LSU. Why would you say that?
Well, I think certainly in the Baylor game, a big part of that was the turnovers and the ability to hold on to the football, to make the correct decisions were sometimes an issue with him this year. And we saw that not only in those couple of games, but at other points, especially in the last half of the season, that he struggled with making throws that put them in not a great position as far as turnovers go, and also at times got pretty fast and loose with the ball, as we saw with some of the fumbles that he had. I think he got better at that as the year went on, but still was a bit of an issue. And I think at the LSU game, a big part of that was just the fact that LSU was so good, and especially on the back end, Oklahoma was missing a couple pieces, although that certainly doesn't make up the gap that we saw in that game that finished 63-28. But was certainly part of it, and Oklahoma really struggled to protect Jalen Hurts. And because of that, especially early, I thought Jalen Hurts got a little antsy in the pocket and at times made it seem like he had less time than he actually did.
What did you see different from him running the offense compared to Kyler Murray the year before, the 2 years before that?
Oh, I think it's not going to say a completely different offense, but it's a lot different with Kyler Murray versus, and Baker Mayfield for that matter, versus Jalen Hurts. And they didn't throw the ball down the field quite as much this year as they've done in the past, even though they had CeeDee Lamb, who was really good on those deep balls. It was many more short throws, quick reads. But they also took advantage of Jalen Hurts' running ability a lot. Kyler Murray was fantastic running the ball, but most of his was sort of improvisational, where he just, when the play breaks down, he's able to break out and make plays with his feet and make big plays with his feet. This year, they got so much more deliberate with calling the run-pass options that wound up a lot of times being read as a Jalen Hurts carry. And he took advantage of that, was a fantastic runner. There's some questions about him at the next level as far as arm strength, as far as decision-making with regularity, like I mentioned earlier. But I thought this year was as much about Jalen Hurts' success, or as much about Lincoln Riley's innovation offensively and his ability to change with who he's got at quarterback, than about what Jalen Hurts was able to do, which was a lot. I think he was really good. It's just like I said, I think Lincoln Riley had a lot to do with that as well.
Ryan, how is he because you talked about not going deep as much? How accurate is he with that deep ball? Was that something that Lincoln didn't want to dial up as much because he didn't have that kind of confidence in it? And then part two, the ad-libbing that you talked about with Kyler Murray, he's still doing it at the NFL level. How is Jalen when everything breaks down and he's got ad-lib?
Yeah, I think Jalen much more just becomes a straightforward running back where he's going to put his head down and sort of bull you to make yards. Now, how that works at the NFL when guys are a whole lot bigger, faster, stronger.
It doesn't work, bro. It doesn't work.
We'll see about that. Exactly. I think it takes a guy that's just with special kind of speed like Kyler Murray to make some of those things happen. So I think that becomes much more difficult. When you talk about his accuracy down the field, it's not what Baker Mayfield's or Kyler Murray's is. It was a whole lot better, though, than it was at Alabama. I think Jalen Hurts became a better thrower this year. I'm just not sure that that's enough to make him a game-after-game starter in the NFL.
Good stuff. Ryan Aber joining us here. And that's to me, that's where I've never been convinced with this kid, because he kind of seems like, see, the thing with Kyler is he's actually very accurate from the pocket. I don't know if you force Jalen into the pocket and take his legs away, how does that accuracy go? Does it go up or does it go down in your eyes?
Yeah, I think that would be really difficult. I think so much of what makes Jalen Hurts a great college quarterback is that running ability that you have to account for on defense, and that forces you to take some things away from your pass coverage that they can exploit, and certainly get exploited in what Lincoln Riley does offensively, whether it be in the running game with other guys, whether it be in just sort of the dump passing game to guys like CeeDee Lamb or the tight ends. I think it's difficult to see that particular set of his game translating at the next level, which means he's got to be a pocket passer. And as you mentioned, Kyler Murray, when he sits back in the pocket, he can be very accurate.
Yep.
Same thing with Baker Mayfield when he gets time, although this year I think he regressed in a pretty significant way. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does at the next level. But I think, to me, it's got to be an offense that really works well for him. I said this with Baker Mayfield, and of course he found that offense. Mm-hmm. But I think Jalen Hurts even more so would have to be just a perfect fit in the NFL for him to have long-term success.
You know, when you're talking about Baker, and one of the things he struggled this year was when they put pressure on him. How is Jalen? Because, see, that's the thing about, Kyler, I got to give him credit, man. He's better than what I thought he was going to be at this level. I still worry about his size and taking shots and how that's going to hold up. But he's got that elusiveness, and he's got that quality that Lamar has, also Jackson. And that's not something that Jalen has. He's not elusive. And when it comes to ad-libbing, that's a problem for him. When it comes to passing, that's a problem for him. It's hard to see him because a lot of fans, Ryan, they're going to think that, he's athletic, he can run. Well, they'll make him do the things that Kyler does. They'll make him do the things that Lamar does. He's really not those guys, right?
Yeah, he's not either of those kind of quarterbacks. I think, we're talking about Kyler Murray. He's got world-class speed. I mean, he's, was right up there with Marquise Hollywood Brown as the fastest guys on that team last year. And, we've seen what kind of speed that Marquise Brown has now that he's healthy. That's not Jalen Hurts. And like you said, it's a whole lot tougher to do that in the NFL. I think you saw, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, in that LSU game, sometimes he ducked out of pressure that wasn't there, where he had time to sit back in the pocket, stand tall, and make the throws. And sometimes he got antsy and got flushed out of the pocket, and it wound up him running for maybe a yard or two or getting brought down in the backfield. And if you do those things in the NFL, if you feel pressure that isn't there, it's going to be really, really hard to have much success at that level.
If he's not elite as a passer, if he's not elite in the pocket, he's not elite running either at the next level, because he's not going to be as elusive as those other guys. What kind of a system does he fit in your eyes at the next level? Because it almost sounds like he's probably more of a gimmick and an athlete than anything else than a quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really difficult to find a really good fit for him, because I think you're going to have to find one where he's asked to make a lot of quick throws. He's got to have a good offensive line in front of him to give him some time and to give him confidence to sit in the pocket. Now, that's not to say that he can't become a better pocket passer, making the jump to the next level. I mean, we've seen the ability for this guy to work and change his game and things like that. But I think, to me, it's just got to be a perfect fit again. Was talking with a couple of OU beat guys the other day, talking about what would be best for him. I hate to do this for a quarterback, and I think there's a chance that Jalen Hurts could find the right system and become a decent NFL quarterback. But
you're staying away. Wait a minute, you're staying away from being Bill Polian. Come on, admit it, Ryan. Let's go. You want to give me a Bill Polian-like comment? Shoot, baby. Go ahead. You can do it.
I mean, I think that it's going to be really difficult for him to have consistent success at the NFL at the quarterback position. I think he could be served, or not better served. I think he would have a chance at having a longer NFL career at another position. But some guys just don't want to give up quarterback, and you can understand that. And like I said, if he makes the steps, maybe he could be a guy who played in the NFL for a significant amount of time, but I think it's going to be really difficult.
Baker Mayfield, so let me ask you something. When you see the struggles this year, because he kind of was able to live off of play action last year, and I thought Freddie Kitchens actually didn't establish Chubb in the running game enough to help out Baker this year with that play action. But they've got him like the one-read guy now, and that's kind of been what's been exposed, and they also know where he likes to roll to and what side. So you tell me, after watching Baker there and now watching Baker 1 year to the next, and the NFL kind of figure him out, what's his next step for you?
Well, I think he's got to adjust to those things. He's got to be more unpredictable at where he rolls out of. He's got to be better at just sitting there in the pocket without the play action and making plays downfield and be more consistent. I think he's now the NFL's adjusted to him. It's his turn to adjust back, and we'll see how that works. I still think, if you ask me, the three quarterbacks that we're talking about at OU here, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts. If you ask me which one is going to be more successful in the NFL long term, right now it's hard to argue against Kyler Murray the way that he's performed. And I think it's going to be more difficult for teams to adjust to what he's able to do than it has been with Baker Mayfield, and then it will be with Jalen Hurts.
I'm with you 100% there. And let me tell you, with Kyler Murray's kind of won me over a little bit as a player. I still worry about him physically, right, Ryan? That's the one thing that I do worry, that if he does take a couple of shots, I don't know how he's going to be able to react, because I know he's kind of thick for a small guy, but he's still small for the NFL, which is still pretty amazing. And let me tell you, were you amazed that he was able to kind of stay healthy all year also?
I was a little bit, but, I mean, that's just who Kyler Murray is. Like I said, his speed, his elusiveness, I've never seen anybody who is able to avoid contact quite the way that Kyler Murray does. And it's easy to say, oh, he's a baseball player, he knows how to slide. But it's much more than that.
Oh, yeah.
The way that he's able to avoid taking big hits. Now, eventually he's going to take some big hits in the NFL that are going to, put him in bad positions. But I think as long as he maintains the kind of speed he has right now, that he's got a chance to hang around this league for a while.
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. You can follow Ryan, by the way, on Twitter at RY Aber, and catch his work there at the Oklahoman covering the Sooners. And by the way, Ryan, just tell Lincoln to go recruit some defensive players, please. Just a few, dude. Come on. You've got the offense thing down pat. Let's get that entire conference up to recruiting some defensive players so they can compete for a national championship, man. It's got to be frustrating for Big 12 fans, right? It's like, man, our offenses are awesome, but we can't stop anybody, and it burns us every time.
Yeah, they're trying to get better about that. I think that the class that they just signed here in December has a higher level of talent on the defensive side. Alex Grinch only had one of his signees on this team this year. That'll change pretty significantly next year. They had a really short secondary. Parnell Motley at 6'0" was their tallest defensive back most of the year until in that Peach Bowl when Woody Washington, a freshman, got thrown out there sort of prematurely because of a targeting ejection. So they feel like they're making strides on that side of the ball, but it's going to be interesting to see how much different that defense looks last year with Alex Grinch and having much more of his players than it did this year. When it was better, it just wasn't, as we saw in the Peach Bowl, at the level needed to compete for a national championship.
Yeah. I don't think you're as old as I am, but dude, I'm 53. I'm old enough to remember when like Oklahoma had like bad-ass defensive players. Okay, I mean NFL like defensive studs on those teams. Yeah. I mean, all they got to do is find a couple, and they're competing for a national championship. I mean, legitimately competing, because most of us now, when we see a Big 12 team get into the playoffs, it's like, okay, they stand no shot. It's hard to ever pick a Big 12 team because none of them play defense yet.
Yeah, I think, I grew up in Oklahoma City in the mid-'80s. I'm actually 42 years old now.
There you
go.
To
make sure I was giving you the right answer. So I grew up watching, guys like Brian Bosworth and Ricky Dixon played defense for the Sooners. And then later, obviously, especially early in the Bob Stoops era, with guys like Teddy Lehman and Dusty Dvorak and Tommy Harris and those kind of guys, Gerald McCoy. It's been a while since they've had that big difference maker on defense, especially in the front seven. And I think Kenneth Murray was a little bit better at that in the middle of the linebacker spot this year, but they've got to get to where they've got 3 or 4 or 5 of those guys on defense to really feel like that they can compete once they get to bowl season. And like I said, I think they feel like they're a whole lot closer to that now than they were 11 months ago when Alex Grinch arrived. But they've still got to keep making strides in order to get better on that side of the ball and be able to compete with the LSUs, the Ohio States, the Clemsons of the world.
Ryan, can you explain how it all changed? Because it's not a lack of resources, because we know Oklahoma's a freaking great university and they've got every resource possible. So we know when recruits walk in there, they've got to be I've seen Lincoln Riley's office, dude. I want to live in that thing. Are you kidding me? It's one of the greatest offices in the history of the planet. Okay, so it's not like it's not a sexy place to go. They can get great offensive players. What was the watershed moment? Where was it that they all of a sudden decided, well, we're only going to be great on offense? That's the part I don't understand about whatever, Oklahoma, Nebraska, all these teams that I used to remember when I was young. They had plenty of great defensive players.
Yeah, I think a big part of it was first of all, when Mike Stoops left and went to Arizona the first time, and then he came back, they were never able to recapture that. They stopped being able to get big-time defensive linemen, and it really got harder as the league started becoming much more of an offensive league. People started thinking of the Big 12 as, sort of this place where people went to play video game football, and all of the big-time, 4- and 5-star defensive linemen especially started all going to the SEC instead of even thinking about the Big 12. And, OU's defensive recruiting, they've missed on a lot of people, and that's obvious given where they've stood in the Big 12 up until this year over the last 3 or 4 years. But also it's become much more difficult for any team in this conference to recruit at a championship type of level on the defensive side. They think they got better there, especially on defensive line this year by signing a couple JUCO guys that they're hoping can, 1, be immediate contributors up there, and 2, can start showing young defensive line recruits that you can have success in the Big 12. And I think this conference is shifting back a little bit for the defensive side, but it'll be interesting to see how that looks recruiting-wise, not only in this 2020 cycle, but 2021 and 2022 as they try to build the core of a defense that they feel like can compete.
Ryan Aber from the Oklahoman joining us here, talking a little Oklahoma football. Ryan, thank you for taking some time, my man. Great insight. Really appreciate it, my brother. Hope to do it again down the line.
Sounds great. Really enjoyed it, and really thanks for having me on. Have a great New Year's.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it. Happy New Year, Ryan. Thank you. There you go. Good stuff from Ryan Aber, man. All right, let me tell you a little bit about Craig Zins, Acura of Pembroke Pines, folks. They got some great deals going on right now, man. Hey, it's the new year coming up, right? And they're closing out. They want to close out the month strong. Get on down there right now. They still have some 2019 models, the ILX 189, 2020 models. Let's start off with the TLX 209. The RDX, my wife drives one. My daughter drives one. $309 a month. The MDX $339, only $29.99. Do it signing plus tax tag and registration. Hey, go experience it for yourself. They got a sales staff that is second to none. They are absolutely awesome. They will take care of you. So get on down to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest dealership in the business, baby. It is Craig Zins, Acura of Pembroke Pines.